this is Tammy. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I hope that you like what you'll see and that you'll return. And if you're returning, thank you so much for returning. I really appreciate it. This is a channel primarily about cross stitch. If you go back a few years of my videos, you'll see all other kinds of craft channels. I've done paper crafting and beading and sewing projects and all different kinds of things. These days, I pretty much just cross stitch, so that's what you'll see. So today what I'm going to show you is I have a couple of finishes, I have a couple of new starts and some whips, and I'll possibly talk about plans at the end if I remember. So my first finish, I finished this last week. I can't remember when I finished it. This is Pretty Little New York by Satsuma Street. And I just love this. This is a gift for someone. Pull it out so you can see the whole thing. I saw these finished at a retreat I was at, and I'd seen them, but in person they're so much different. This is stitched on 14 count white Aida, and I went ahead and used, I don't usually stitch on white, but I went ahead and used white because I really wanted the colors to pop. So this is New York City. I've never been there. I recognize the Statue of Liberty. I don't really know what the rest of the stuff is. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. One of those is the Empire State Building, I'm sure. I don't know what the rest of it is, but I'm hoping it'll mean something to the person I'm giving it to. So that's Pretty Little New York by Satsuma Street. I love her patterns because she uses such bright colors and they're just amazing. The next one is out of the Stony Creek Winter 2021 Cross Stitch magazine, and this is it. It is finished. Finished. I am so glad to be done with this. I love this picture. This little part in here at the end gave me fits, and there's a ton of back stitching because it's Stony Creek. But it's done. It's ready to be framed, and I am so glad that it's done. I do love it. I think I'm going to just do it in a regular frame, probably with glass. I'm not sure. All my other stuff, except for one thing, all my other stuff has glass, so I might finish it myself if I can find a frame that's the right size. Stony Creek does offer finishing supplies and in their magazine, but this one is 3 years old, and when I looked, the frame is no longer there. I didn't buy it at the time like I should have. The other thing that I know I bought and I can't find is this has two buttons on it. There's a butterfly here and there's a little cardinal right there. I know I purchased those and I can't find them, so I ordered them again, and they'll be arriving soon, and then I can add them to this and decide how I'm going to frame it. So this is called Stable Mates, and it's by Stony Creek. Loved stitching it. It was one of the ones I brought out for Bringo in January, and I hadn't touched it for 2 years and it was only half done, but once I started stitching on it I really wanted to finish it, so I kept going until it was done. So those are my finishes. I have two new starts. On January 28th I attended the Acorn Gathering, or Gathering of the Nuts, whatever it is that Acorns and Threads calls it. It's an event they do every year in January. It's always a mystery. You don't know who the designer will be. And we were very pleased and surprised that the guest designer was Fox and Rabbit, and this is the pattern that they created for us. It's called A Gathering of Acorns, and I'll show it up close. So Karen designed this for us. Brendan dyed the fabric. So you get the whole kit. The fabric is 36 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit Designs, and I do love it. I don't like people. I don't like people. That's not a nice thing to say. Sorry, that's not what I meant. I don't like to stitch people, and I don't really like people in my designs. I'm contemplating if I'm going to leave her there or not. If I take her out, I would have to do something, and I do want to keep the squirrel, so I'm contemplating. I might go ahead and just stitch her in there. She does add a nice pop of color with that blue. And here, oh, I didn't. Where's my board? Huh, okay, well, I will do this maybe. See if this helps. Here's how far I got. This is the window that's in the middle, and then the door. And I am now stitching over here, getting ready to stitch another window. floss is Classic Colorworks, I want to say. Oh, I got the thing right in front of me. Yeah, it's Classic Colorworks with a couple of DMCs. So I did the window and the door all on that Sunday at the event, and then since then I've stitched more of this orange so that I can go over and do another window. So we'll see how often this comes out. Oh, my needle's still stuck in there, sorry. I don't know how often it will come out. I do really enjoy it, but I also have plans that I'm trying to stick to, and that's not in my plans. So my next new start, this one was impromptu. Carolyn Seasick Stitches was talking about a new start, a stitch along she was going to do with Sarah, who is Stitchin' Mommy, and they were doing this Jardin Privé. It's called Sampler Fleur, so Sampler of Flowers. And when Carolyn showed it, she showed the pattern last month, and they started on February 1st. I thought it was beautiful, and I'm not a sampler person. Like most samplers are in prim colors, and there are a lot of reproduction samplers, and I like pretty bright colors, and this has pretty bright colors. The only thing it was missing is purple, so I will be adding purple to it. I've gone all around the pattern and decided places I'll be putting in purple. And here is my start. For this one, my fabric was a little iffy as far as how big the border was going to be. I went through all of my massive amounts of fabric to find one that would work. And so I'm starting in the middle instead of the top left like I normally do these days. So I did the tree in the middle, and this is it. And then I did the little snail, and this is the start of a border. Well, it's not a border of the picture, but it's like a border thing that goes through the middle. And this is on 32 count Lugana, that is Pampas Reed by Atomic Ranch. I had it in my stash. So that is it. I like the little blue bird, and the snail was fun to stitch. So that is Sampler au Fleur by Jardin Privé, if I'm saying that right. So those are my two. This one is the Stitchers RSVP. And it says, listen, I still want to be invited, but I'm not coming. And that's kind of me. I like to be invited, but I'm not a very social person. So I saw this at Acorns and Threads and fell in love with it. I did not have the right fabric, so I changed the fabric. But this is it. I love the kitty and the border and the little house. So when you saw it last, I worked on this border, but all I had was some of the squirrely line done. And I've worked on it quite a bit since then. And here, oops, just lost something on the floor. This is it. This is 32 count. Oh, what I lost is my card that tells me the fabric and stuff. This is 32 count Spending Amnesia. It's linen by Mystic Fabrics, I want to say. And I first saw this fabric on Lindy Stitches. It's her favorite fabric, and she had it in her shop, so I had to buy some. I don't like green, but I'm really liking this fabric. So it's quite a bit lighter than the picture. So the first thing I had to do was change the color of the border, because the called for color was the same color as the fabric. So my border is darker. I really like this, the berries or flowers or whatever they are at the top, and I love the kitty. I haven't done his back stitching, so he's missing his whiskers. And I didn't realize until the night before last that the words, except for the first letter, the words are all stitched 1 over 1 on 32 count. So I usually enjoy stitching words. I'm glad there's not a lot. I mean, there is quite a bit. It says, listen, I still want to be invited, but I'm not coming. So we'll see how long that takes me. But I think this is a lot of fun. These little things in here are kind of hard to see. They show up really well in person. And then this is the start of a pair of scissors. And I've had to change a few other colors as I go, just because they didn't work right. The scissors is one of them. The scissors in the original, because it's on a dark fabric, the scissors is a light gray, and that didn't work on here. So this is Stitchers RSVP. The designer is one I had never heard of before, and I picked this up at Acorns and Threads. But the designer, it just says Posy, and then it says by Alicia Paulson. So that's her logo. So that is Stitchers RSVP. The next one I worked on is another Satsuma Street. It's Cactus Cat. This was another one of my starts from December. Sorry, I like brain cramp. This was, I worked on this for Bringo in January, and it's one that I didn't put down for a while. I worked on it for several days. One thing I will say about Satsuma Street, I love that her patterns are in color. Oh, I can't show you the pattern. But they are printed, the pattern, excuse me, is printed all the way across here. So on my pretty little New York, in this crease, because I kept opening and closing the pattern, you can't see what the symbols are. So my caution would be to be careful with this pattern, because that one I had flipped backwards, and you know, this one I can still see what those symbols are in the middle, so I'm being really careful. I would say to make a working copy of the middle at least. I don't need a working copy otherwise, because it's a pretty big chart, and it's the way it's printed, it's really easy to work off of. But I'm going to make a working copy just of that middle, in case opening and closing it every time I stitch on it messes it up like it did on my pretty little New York. So that's just a caution. And this is where I am. Get my needle out of the, across the way. There is my pattern cat. I'm over here working on the kitty's body. Love the colors in this. It is bright, beautiful colors. These are all DMC, and they're just so pretty. This fabric, oh, I dropped the card. This is a 32 count Be Stitch Me, and I'm sorry I don't know the color because the card went far away. I can't get to it. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I can't remember. I should write these down on my notes, and then I wouldn't need to have the card with it. But so that's my Cactus Cat. Very fun to stitch on. I want to keep stitching on it, which is why it's still on its Qsnap, but it's not fitting in this month, so I want to make it come out next month. Next is Fresh Pick Lavender by Pedal Pusher. I'm sorry, I was thinking about something. The Sampler Fleur and Stablemates, I think, were on my magazine monthly challenge list this month, so that's why I stitched on those. Cactus Cat I stitched on last month right after I filmed my last video. Fresh Pick Lavender is next, and it is on my magazine monthly challenge for this month. And I saw somebody stitching this in person, and I loved it. It's by Pedal Pusher. It's purple, so of course I love it. I'm stitching it on 18 count white Aida just because I want it to pop. And this is where I am. When you saw it last, I had a tiny little bit done right here of the green. So I've got that one stem done, and I'm stitching the words because I want to get to the frame. And I enjoy stitching words. So that's Fresh Pick Lavender by Pedal Pusher. Barbie of Pedal Pusher. This next one I've worked on only a little tiny bit. It's also on my magazine monthly challenge, and it's a year-long challenge by Modern Folk Embroidery, and this is No Time Like the Present. And Jacob designed this as a stitch along, and the chart is broken out showing you how much to stitch each month to get done at the end of a year. And he basically has you stitch, I think he broke it up 6 times this way and then down the middle, so you're stitching like this much, or however much would be a 1/6 of that. And you will see that I have failed miserably so far because I'm still in this tiny little bit at the top. The only thing I've done since this was a New Year's Day start, I have done 3 of these little guys. And when I pick it up next, I want to stitch down and get to the stuff underneath, because I can't keep doing these. There's only 2 motifs there, and I need variety. This is also on my magazine monthly challenge for this month. And then the last thing I've worked on since my last video, and I need something white. This will work maybe. is Honey Pot, which is a Mill Hill kit, cute little kit. And I didn't get very far. I've done a little bit more. I'm doing more of the, over here, stitching this lighter blue in the middle. This is, I think it's a 14. Looks like a 14 count perforated paper, and that's how far I've gotten. I want to do more of my Mill Hill kits. I really have fun with them. So that's everything I've stitched on since I filmed my whip parade 2 weeks ago. Is that when I filmed it? Time goes by so fast I can't remember. And as far as plans I have for the rest of this month, Carolyn Seazook Stitch is starting a stitch along, and I can't remember who she's doing it with, on a pattern out of just cross stitching. It's adorable. It's called The Snuggle Is Real. And so she's starting that on February 14th, and I will be starting that. I haven't kitted it up yet, so I won't show it right now. I'll show it on my next video. And the rest of my plans for this month is to try to stick to my magazine monthly challenge prompts, which they're all things I want to stitch on, but there's other things I want to stitch on too. So the magazine monthly challenge, I give myself, I think the challenge is, I don't know what it is. I think you decide yourself. I told myself I want 3 days for each one. And so I have 19 days of stitching left to do just for the magazine monthly challenge. And there's 21 days left this month when I'm filming this. There's other things I want to stitch on too, so I'm not sure how that will go. If you've watched very much of my cross stitch videos, you will know that I prefer to stitch what I want when I want. And that when even just whip go was all I had struggled to meet it. So I made my whip go much more general and easy to do this year. So whip go for this month is Halloween. So I need to do 3 days on something Halloween. And then Heart of Winter, 3 days on that. Heart of Winter is also in my magazine monthly challenge list. And I love it, so I got to get that out and stitch on it. So that is all that I have going on right now. I think I have some stuff to finish for myself and for other people, and I need to get to doing that, but I really just want to stitch, so that's a little difficult. I think my next video, is going to be a fully finished parade, showing you things that I have fully finished. And the reason I'm going to do that is because at the end of the year, I started a finishing business, and I want to show you the kinds of things that I could do for you. So look for that coming up. It'll be a fully finished parade, and it will have a lot of different kinds of finishes in it. And then it would also be an opportunity for people to let me know what other kinds of finishes they would like to see that I haven't already shown. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and happy stitching. Have a great day.